you are currently at home with a young child, or you're planning to be at home with a young child in the future, today's video is just for you. Hey, if we haven't met before, my name is Holly. I am a pediatric occupational therapist, a mum, and the founder of Playful Pod, which is my play and child development membership community. I release new videos every single Tuesday, giving you tips in raising your toddlers. Now, I did want to let you know before we jump into the meat about tot schooling and why we stopped doing it, about a big event that is happening next week, and that is the annual Toddler Play Conference. It's happening from the 21st of March until the 25th, and it is jam-packed 5 days with 25 expert speakers giving you all of the tools that you need to really equip your child with the gift of play. Now, we have a free ticket available, which you can go ahead and grab in the link down in the description box, and that's going to give you access to all 25 talks over those 5 days. But it does only give you 24 hours to listen to each day's talks. So if you'd like extended access, if you want some of the bonus time that comes with the upgraded version of this ticket, as well as being able to listen on podcast form, have a certificate for 15 hours of learning, and a workbook, then you can also upgrade to the VIP ticket, which you'll be told about as you go along in the process of registering. So start out by just grabbing your ticket, and we would love to see you there. It's going to be so much fun. We have topics like Montessori in the outdoors and playing, bilingual parenting. We have a dad talking about connection, which is a great one to invite your partner to come and listen to as well. And we have tons of workshops as well throughout the conference process, with lots of therapists actually giving you really practical tips and tools that they use in therapy. So I know you're going to love it, and I hope to see you there. Now, let's get into this topic. The first question is really, what is tot schooling? So tot schooling is like this concept that's become more and more popular in recent years, and it is basically like homeschooling, but for your toddler. So tot, homeschooling your toddler. So if you are on Pinterest, you will see there are many resources around tot schooling. And actually, if you go to my Pinterest page, which I haven't touched for a very long time, but if you go there, you will find a super detailed Pinterest board with all different learning themes within this, and different activities and ideas that you can do within these learning themes. And this is basically what I was doing, and I did stop, and I will be getting to why I did that. But at first, when my first child was born, I went back to work, and he was in a daycare center for at least a few days a week. It started off as 2, and then it grew up to 3 and a bit more. But then when my daughter was born, he actually came back and stayed home with me, which I was so thrilled about. And it was just a really good fit for our family. And I wanted to make the most of that time. I wanted to, as a therapist, as a child development expert, really make the most of it. I know how important the little years are, and I wanted to give him the best foundation that I could. So of course, I got to Pinterest and I made this epic board, and I had everything planned out according to learning themes, and I was really excited about it, and I put a lot of effort into it, and I wanted everything to be, super Pinterest worthy, or to have nice photos at the end of it as well. And we basically were going each week according to a theme, and we had different kind of activities of different areas of development that we were doing each week within that theme. And it was fun, I won't lie. There was definitely fun parts of it. I think that as much as I love child-led play, there's something fun about doing creative stuff with your kids and having something to show for it. I don't dismiss that or the role of that as a parent. And I also think that in those little years, as you're kind of finding your feet and seeing who am I as a parent, because you really are taking on a whole new role. It's a whole separate identity that you as a parent are kind of taking on, and it's very different in the toddler years when they move away from you to the baby years where you're always holding them. And so I also really felt for myself, and I really understand for other parents that this thing of also being able to take a photo of something afterwards, and although your day feels it's just so much busyness, and there's not really at the end of the day something to show for it, your spouse or significant other will come home to a messy house anyway. It's not there's that you can say, oh, I did this today. So often with raising young children, and activities can often give you that lead in. But, and there is a big but. I always think of activities as like the sprinkling on the top, not necessarily the actual like ice cream or cake. So let me tell you my experience with this. I know this as a therapist. I know how important child initiation within a play space is, and I know how important schematic play is. But I kind of, between that like dance of finding my own identity and wanting to do well so much, and really a lot of anxiety at that point, just like making these big life changes of staying home with your child and making career shifts, and that anxiety of wanting to do more and to do well kind of left me in a place where I was forgetting my theoretical background as a practitioner, as a therapist. So we had this week where I was still with my baby and I had my 2-year-old, and I was like nursing and pumping and the fullness of having a baby and a toddler around. And I'd set out these little like jelly beads. They're those little beads that you put water with and they like grow, and they're like jelly. They're really fun. So I'd put them out in like a sensory table, and I thought that it would give me like half an hour to just do the nursing pumping situation. And then, we'd carry on with our like themed learning and our like activity structure for the day. And actually it turned into something completely different because my child was hooked. He was just so intrigued by these balls, by the experience of digging his hands into it, by being able to put them on top of his cars and move them around, by watching them bounce on the floor. Like, he was absolutely absorbed. And this didn't just extend for like half an hour. This was like for a full week. Every single morning he was waking up and he was like, where are those balls? He just wanted to play with them. And he was so deeply like he was so concentrated and deeply engaged in his play. And as a therapist, I was like, oh my goodness, this is the thing. This is the thing that we want. Like, this is the thing that really teaches your child how to initiate learning and how to love learning. Like, this is much, much more powerful than me taking him away now to, I don't know, go do some other kind of sensory bin or go do some like specific activity that I have in mind. So just really realizing that as a therapist really helped me to kind of step back and reevaluate this thing of tot school, and kind of, peel away those like needs for me as a mom to feel like good enough, or like I'm doing enough, or to have my checklist, to peel away those needs, because the need here really is my child, not me. Like, I need to have those needs met in a different way, in a way that's more appropriate. So to peel those away and to really look at what is serving him best. And I realized that to serve him best, we needed to really like dig deep into that deep play, and like protect his concentration and allow his creativity and curiosity and exploration. If you want to know more about why that's so important from a developmental standpoint, you can go and check the video that's linked on your screen now. I threw away the tot school curriculum. I mean, it's still there on Pinterest, right? But we put it aside. We re-looked at our daily flow. What are we actually doing in a day? Because I do think that it's important to know that we have some levers as parents that we can pull in order to really facilitate our child's development in this foundational years. The one is time. So building a daily flow, and again, this is not like a classroom where you're like switching from activity to activity and you're, as the parent, always leading the show, but having like a flow that you can function in that takes away that mental load of like, did I do this activity, and have we done gross motor and fine motor and this motor and that motor? It just kind of puts that aside and lets you say, let's follow the way that we do, and naturally all of those areas of development are being catered for in our daily flow. So that one lever that we can pull is time. The second lever that we can pull is our environment, the way that we build up our environment, the way that we structure toys, shelves, different invitations to play. And if you want to know more about that, then you definitely need to come to the Toddler Play Conference, because you will learn a ton about that. And then the third one, really monitoring myself as the facilitator and not the teacher. So it is quite like a different kind of focus that you put. And it also does require this very special dance of being able to step back when needed, to really, again, like harness that deep flow and that deep concentration for your child. So If that all sounds like amazing and you are ready to put away your tot schooling curriculum and really focus on what is age appropriate and developmentally appropriate for your child, firstly, come and join us at the conference because I know this is going to give you so much to take home. But secondly, I am running a webinar on the final day of the conference, the 25th of March, where I go into like the work that has taken hours and hours and hours of my life reading research papers and like really digging into theories from all different sectors of child development to understand how we can build the flow that does support every single area of child development and doesn't leave me needing a checklist to like monitor every minute. This was absolutely transformational in our lives, and I would love for you to come and join that webinar and also get those tools on knowing really how to support the daily flow of your child. So you can find out more about that by joining the conference, and then you'll get all the details of the webinar, and I hope to see you there.